If you think about it really, the stream is starting exactly on time now because the starting soon screen is swapped before 2:15 p.m. So if you really think about it, this might be the first ever stream that I'm actually early to. What do you know? Anyway, hi everybody, happy Saturday. I actually forgot to do something real quick, hold on. Because I forgot we're playing the Italy campaign, so... Of course I need to get my hat here. I need to take the crown off. There we go. I almost nailed that first time actually. Let me just move it a little bit. Uh-oh, I locked it in. Okay, well I guess it's staying there now. Anyway, hi everyone, happy Saturday. Hopefully everyone's having a good day so far. I'm not gonna lie, I've kind of done nothing today. I woke up and I kind of just did nothing. And then eventually I was like, yeah, I remember yesterday I said I would stream today, so I guess I should do that at some point. So here we are. I mean, most Saturdays, it's not like I'm doing anything too important anyway. But I used to stream like every Saturday, so I should bring that back. More so, I should bring back the stream schedules, actually. Because I think the last one that I made was actually for December. It's the new year and I still don't have a new stream schedule put up. I still have last year's. Or last month's. But even without the stream schedule, you know, I have actually streamed 3 times this week if you include today, so maybe we don't actually need the stream schedule. Anyway. Hello everyone, hi Bubba, hi Otto, hello Mr. Overheat. Hi Casper, hello Robert, and I think that's everyone. Also, Heligen, hi everyone. Still not on time? I mean, in a sense, I guess. Sounds like a good Saturday. Those are the best weekend days, the ones where you kind of do nothing. Except tomorrow, I think I'm gonna go pick up like a new bed frame and a new mattress, so... Unfortunately, I do actually have to do things tomorrow. It turns out, like... Hold on, let me get into the game first before I yap. There we go. It turns out, bed frames and mattresses are like weirdly expensive. I don't know what I expected, but they're kind of crazy expensive, actually. Let me turn that down, because it'll get loud at some point. But yeah, like apparently like a solid mattress can be like well over $1,000. Like, damn, okay. Alright. I didn't know that's how it was. But I've kind of just had like the same bed frame for like 15 years, so I figured I should probably get like a larger one. I've had like the same single bed frame for maybe... Actually, how old am I? I've probably had that for like a solid 16, maybe 17 years. So, you know, I figure at this point I should probably... I was actually looking into getting a queen-size bed, because the thing is, even if I get a double bed, like my feet still kind of hang off the end. And queen-size beds have a little extra length at the bottom. So I figured that would be nicer to have. Like my room is large enough now to have a queen-size bed, so I might get one. Anyway, that's going to be a decision I'll make tomorrow for sure. Today we're playing some EU5, which I know is surprising, right? It's not like it's the only thing I make videos on at this point. But, especially for streaming, it actually I think has been roughly a month since I last streamed this campaign. So, I guess some catching up is due. Of course, we're playing this Florence into Tuscany into Italy campaign that we've been playing for a couple of weeks, and then I took like that sort of month-ish off from EU5 streams. And the only reason we're doing this now is because I want to get into like at least the 1500s-ish. I don't know if we're going to do that today. I do have quite a bit of time to stream, so we'll see how far we get. But the idea is I want to try and get further into the game so I have a better understanding of the main problems of the mid to late game. Not that we'll ever reach late game, but at least getting closer into mid game, I think it would be nice to figure out, like, why it just kind of sucks. And I know that the mid to late game kind of sucks in the way that it's too easy, because a lot of people are complaining that it's too easy, and it offers no challenge. But at the same time, I see people reacting very negatively to the proposed anti-blob mechanic, which is the complacency or whatever it's called. Did you guys read the dev diary that was put out like 3 days ago, I think? The one with the complacency mechanic, and then I think they really changed the complacency, well, like the placeholder figures, because people were like, oh, this is too much, you know, it'll cripple the country, this isn't fun or anything. Which is fair, like some of those were like kind of insane. Nope, I did not. Okay, so in the next update, just to give you a brief overview, they're thinking of adding this mechanic. They want to rework rivals, right? So they want to make it so that there's a thing called a threatening rival, which is basically a country. I don't know how they're going to determine this exactly, but the point is you have this country that can actually pose as a challenge to you. And if you don't have any of those, then you have no actual challenging rivals, and thus it begins to build up this complacency mechanic, or whatever they're calling it, I kind of forget. And that's supposed to give you a bunch of penalties to sort of slow you down. Now, I don't hate this idea. I think it's reasonable. Like, we can see for a lot of countries that became hegemonies, they sort of started to crack from within rather than from challengers outside. Yeah, stagnation, that kind of thing. Maybe that's what they're calling it. But yeah, like, for example, we saw, like, the Roman Empire more so. It fell from a combination of things, but part of that was like internal corruption and caring less about the state itself and more about the individual, like, governors wanting more, I guess. I'm no expert on the fall of Rome, but like internal decay, especially of power structures, had a massive impact on that. And then we can also see a similar thing with like the attitudes in Qing China as they were faced with like the industrializing powers from the West. And they were like, oh, what do we care about these guys? We're literally the most important country in the world. We don't care about their little trinkets and baubles and little doodads. And then those doodads ended up coming in the form of like metal ships, and then the Opium War happened, and then the Century of Humiliation. So it's like a combination of like internal power structure decay, and then sometimes being challenged after that's happened for a while. So like it's kind of like it's definitely a couple of things for sure. But I like the idea of your country kind of becoming more corrupt the longer it has held hegemony for, you know? I think it sort of follows the natural life cycle of empires as I understand them, which is not perfect. But like, you know, it's that kind of thing. So I like the idea, it just sort of depends on how they execute the mechanic. So, yeah. Well, the other thing also is that it sort of depends on the lifespan, right? Because I think they said, oh, it'll take 100 years of having no rivals before you actually feel the full effects. But on the other hand, when we look at something like the decay of the Roman Empire, that took like several hundred years. It's always been a bit of a weird one when I think about it. Like, the Roman Empire took a long time to fall apart. Like, a really long time. And I mean, it really depends on, you know, did the Roman Empire fell in whatever, 7 something AD, 700? Or whenever that was? I don't really remember. Wait, was it earlier than that? I'm kind of outing myself as a fake Roman history fan when I forget when the Western Roman Empire fell. But anyway, when like the eastern half survived, it's like, okay, well, the empire took a really long time to crumble in that sense, but if you consider it from the standpoint of like a hegemony over a large area, then the Eastern Roman Empire really didn't have that anymore. 476? Really? That's earlier than I thought. Well, anyway, yeah, so that's the whole idea behind that, and they're going to make an update for that, and apparently that's going to be in February, I think they said. So all of that is to say, we're going to play a little bit more into this campaign, and then in theory, they're going to make a public beta for 1.1. Hopefully, please, I'm crossing my fingers, please make a public beta for 1.1. Do not just drop that mechanic on us. But anyway, if they do make a public beta, that will be the next EU5 stream. All of that was just to give you that context. Now, in terms of this stream, today's campaign, we're continuing from Florence, right? So the whole goal of this campaign previously was to form Italy before 1444, and I think we got it. I think it was 1440. So we formed Italy. We have all these subjects still that we're integrating. We are pushing towards naval because we used to be heavy on land until... Actually, do we even have the good roads yet? We don't have the good roads yet, but I think we got the proximity cost reduction in here. Yeah. Well, more importantly, I think we got docks. And then once we had docks, we're like, okay, now we can push towards naval. We're pushing towards naval so that we can actually get some good proximity around like Sardinia and Sicily maybe, and both sides of the peninsula. That's kind of what we're doing. We just finished a war against Hungary, actually. So we took Croatia, Bosnia, and Slavonia proper here. We're just going to keep them as subjects for a while because we have really bad proximity. But as that improves, of course, we will integrate them. Speaking of which, we have these two being integrated. And I don't remember having this policy, but I guess we have to pick one. Oh, right. Yeah, I remember. We had to change the entire system of governance for the country because we had a ruler that was so bad we could not allow him to remain in charge. I remember that now. Rome got a new rival in Persia. Oh, right, and the Ottoman Empire. True. The Ottoman Empire definitely did have... I mean, EU4 had an entire mechanic called decadence. Particularly just to model the Ottoman Empire, which is kind of funny. But yeah, it's like that. What if you had the Ottoman decadence mechanics, but it's actually every empire following a theory of the life cycle of empires? The Roman Empire was also so incredibly much stronger than anything else it managed to stand longer. There's a good point to that, actually. In like the pure size of the Roman hegemony. But not a point that I could really honestly link back to anything historical. Like outside of Rome. Or what in particular that really means. Honestly, decadence is a better word than complacency to describe such a mechanic. Decadence, true, but also, I think we actually need to see a corruption mechanic return. Like an actual corruption mechanic. And I think that the particular kind of corruption mechanic should apply primarily to the military. Also, I don't know why I got a massive jump in satisfaction and a bunch of other things. Did I play this before an update or something? I don't know. Anyway, let's keep on integrating stuff. I guess we should integrate over here. But yeah, something like, oh, you have a really strong country, and some of the generals are like, hey, I don't even have to really do my job because we're so strong it literally doesn't matter. So corruption kind of just overtakes the military structure of the country. I think that would be reasonable, maybe, to have as a mechanic. Actually, yeah, okay, so in terms of elections, when's the next election? Rules for 48 months. And the score is based off of primarily ability, but also age. I guess the length of the election term doesn't really matter in this game, does it? We'll increase it, though. EU5 is my first in the series. Good luck, man. Managed to form Italy from Naples around 1460, also ended up in a marriage union with Aragon and annexed them. Allied with Castile, Hungary, Bohemia, France, they all bailed me and I got bodied. But at that point, if you managed to form Italy by 1460, surely France would not be that big of a problem. Well, France and Bohemia are a problem. That's because of Giga Bohemia. Actually, that reminds me. What do I want to do? Maybe invade Serbia. Possibly. How many troops do you have? 7.2 thousand? Don't I have that many regulars in theory? Oh, I can upgrade my men-at-arms. To what? 12 men-at-arms to early arquebusiers. 6 crossbowmen to early arquebusiers. Wait, is that really an upgrade? Or is that just a lateral jump? Early arquebusiers. No, that's definitely this tree. Okay, never mind. I think they're the direct upgrade for the archers, for crossbowmen. Yeah, and halberdiers are the melee weapon guys. Okay. So we want to create a new unit that's just the crossbowmen. Yeah, and then we'll upgrade these. Sure, that's fine. I would say Mandate of Heaven was also a mechanic to hamper the blobbing ability of Ming, anyone who took it. Well, kind of. Mandate of Heaven may have started that way, and then it became a really, really good mechanic for pretty much anyone to have. Well, it kind of depends on your skill as a player, I guess. Because there are some things that can make Mandate really bad, but otherwise, if you get it early enough, Mandate is just like a positive mechanic for the most part. Okay, we could integrate... You know what, actually, I might do that, unless there are laws I want to change, but at this point, I think I have every law that I want. Yeah, we have Navy audits, anti-piracy, expanded levies, that is a good one. That's fine. Actually, is that fine? That's kind of crazy. Minus 25% peasant to state satisfaction. Well, that's why we have this, right? So the peasants are happier. More naval push. That's cool. Export ban, that's fine. That is fine, I think. I think I want more progress towards free subjects. That's fine. That's fine. Okay, yeah, so we don't really want to change any laws. So I think what we're going to do is just promote the integration process, because that's actually kind of helpful. Except it's just Milan. Really? Brother, you cannot be serious. Promote integration process looks inside one location. Alright. We could get some counting houses. Are these discounted? Base price minus 33% is... These are not discounted. They only have like the regular discount from the actual building materials. That's so weird then. I've never understood these ones that are like, okay, you're going to construct these buildings, but it's actually for the exact same cost that you would have otherwise paid. Like, nothing is actually different here. Also, one second, let me just scroll down so I don't lose chat. Peasant-controlled mines? Maybe. Makes the peasants happier, gives you more free subjects. Burghers are giving me capital economy, plutocracy, and their happiness. The thing is, like, the commoners are still kind of chill. The burghers are too happy. They should be more miserable. That's because I've given them way too many things. Okay, we should fix this. God, that's expensive. 100 stability? We need to get rid of their land rights. We need to get rid of their trade monopolies. Well, this one isn't actually that bad. The thing is, like, allowing your burghers to trade for you is fine as long as you can actually tax them a lot. Unfortunately, we cannot tax them that much. The maximum tax is less than 31%. And that's because the burghers have too much power. Yeah, we need to figure out a way to tax them more. They need less power and we need to tax them more. Is there a way for me to, like, claw back some state control? Census, increase our control, that's useless. Never mind, okay. Maybe market expansion? Sure. Tax the nobles? The nobles are kind of broke, actually. I don't know. You know what I could do? Revoke one of their privileges, which would give me more power. We just get no Republic power because there are no Republic characters. Over here we go people, filter crown. Can't filter crown, never mind, because we're looking for characters. We have 2. We have this guy and his older brother. I love playing Republics. Ah, man, okay, whatever. Sure, whatever. Oh yeah, who is I actually going to go to war with? Because I want to leave the HRE. Who's the Emperor? Bohemia. Do I look like I'm fighting Bohemia right now? I think my levies are cooked. Hold on. Ooh. Yeah, we need to wait a while, actually, for the levies. Okay, we're not doing that. Never mind. We're gonna let this go through, and we're going to declare war on Serbia. Actually, how large is the frontage on this? That's not actually that bad. Just got here, thought the next update was coming in February. It is. Yeah, you are not mistaken. Are crossbowmen good? On the Age of Renaissance, I usually only research cannons and men-at-arms. They're pretty strong, mostly because they enter combat first. So, I think it's one of those things where if you research crossbowmen and you build a few and your enemy doesn't, then they're really good. If you don't research them and your enemy does, then they're going to be really good against you. But if you both research them and have a couple, then they're just kind of eh. Like, they're not actually amazing on their own. They just get to... They get to throw a couple of pot shots at the beginning of each battle. Let's see, we definitely want halberdiers. We want probably falconets at this point, because wait, did I actually even get cannons? I do not remember. Cannons are over here? No, they're not. Over here, and I did get them. Okay, so we already have Hofnieces. Of course, I could have just checked that. Well, anyway. So, we want halberdiers, we want lancers and falconets. I guess we also kind of want dry docks. Yeah, well, I mean, we get harbor capacity from that. And that's nice. Foreign culture law might be relevant. Culture capacity, assimilation speed and influence. We do want a House of Parliament. And we kind of want these. And we kind of want that, and we kind of want that. That's going to take a while. The only thing is trying to figure out, like, do I want to keep Florence as the capital? It's a really good one, but... yeah, you know what? We'll keep it as the capital. It's fine. Alright. Serbia. Time for war. Sounds about right. A new technology giving a massive advantage if you have it first. Well, it's kind of that. That's just generally true for most units that are an improvement over the base units. But it's more so to do with the fact that they are more effective if your enemy does not have high initiative units. Hegemony proclaimed. What did I do? Cultural hegemony. As it should be, of course. What are you doing again? Oh, right, you're doing, you know what? Yeah. The brother can be in charge there. Huge. Yeah, the food production was kind of an issue for a while. I think that's because I was raising the levies. I think everything got minus 20% food production. But it could also just be the expanding population of Italy. Maybe we just need more food. We do have this wheat field here. We already have the windmill, okay. Yeah, Florence just devours food. We do not have enough food in the rest of Florence to feed it. We need more wheat. Oops. Let's see, Torino's getting us food. I think really it's just we have a problem with it being winter. I kind of forgot about this problem too. Right. We have all the temples, libraries, and universities? No, absolutely not. Even I can't spell library? We have most of them. The thing is, with especially like libraries, they kind of have a diminishing return. Like a little bit. Well, we do get more local cultural influence. I guess that's that. The literacy is nice. But for the things that are super important, like pop promotion speed, it's not really popping all that much. Actually, why do we have excess trade capacity in Florence? Do I have trade automated? I don't. Okay, I don't know why I don't have that automated. We should never have excess capacity. And if we do, it's because I'm doing something wrong. Or I've oversaturated the marketplaces. But yeah, look at our trade income. Hold on. It kind of sucks. Look at this. 15 trade income. We could probably fix that. So we're going to build marketplaces. And in particular, I think I'm going to start in... Well, no, it doesn't matter that much. Oh, hey, Mono. We're trying to reestablish Rome eventually. Maybe... I don't know. Because the next update's probably going to happen before I get that far into this campaign. But yeah, marketplaces. I don't know if I want to build a bunch in the capital. Because I kind of have mixed feelings about it. On one hand, yeah, it uses up building levels, which could be used for things that make more money, and of course we have max control, so that's nice. On the other hand, because we have so many burgers in the capital, let me just do a check on that. We see our capital here, right? We have 23,000 burgers. And so what I'm thinking is marketplaces, they also give you a burger trade percentage increase. We'll also build that, I guess. So like for the marketplace, because we have 10 of these, our burgers get 200% trade capacity in the capital. It does also give them more power. But with that in mind, the burgers can do more trade, which gets us better prices, so we can make more money off of, you know, productive buildings, right? So it makes sense to, like, build a bunch in the capital because there are already a lot of burgers, I think. Maybe. How much money do you actually make? They make... Ooh, what is this? Income after taxes, sure. Trade income is only 20 ducats. That's not even that much, though. Okay, Okay, the monthly expenses are enormous. They have no money because they're always demanding things. More fine cloth, more books, more furniture. And they don't even make that much on trade. Maybe the marketplaces are really only worth it to build in other places. It wouldn't be surprising. It would just be kind of disappointing. Because it's like, oh, you have this massive capital with so many merchants and traders and craftsmen, but I would never ever build marketplaces in there. Like, it's just super inefficient. And that just feels bad from a gameplay perspective. Because, like, yeah, the marketplaces are just more useful everywhere else. Especially now that they give local market access. Like, it is just kind of better to build them far away from the capital. Yeah, we also need to take a look at temples, but we'll do that in a second. I've heard marketplaces are better in places that need market access. For sure, yeah, like that's invaluable. Being able to... Oh, right, I have rebels. Forgot about that. Wait, do they even exist? You have no troops. Oh, okay. I feel like my subjects can probably deal with that. Or... that'll probably be enough. Maybe. Okay, no it's not. Alright. Fine. Is this game slower time-wise than Vic 3? I swear you spent more time in this game compared to Vic 3 and only gone about 100 years. Oh, absolutely. Honestly, you can kind of have a whole game of Victoria 3 in maybe like 2 afternoons. I guess it depends on how much you want to deliberate on your choices, which I like to do. I play these games slower than most people, I think. But also playing the game slower means I can do things like form Italy in 1440. So that's kind of cool. But yeah, compared to Victoria 3, this game is significantly slower. I mean, if you have EU4 as a reference, and you already know that EU4, of course, is a much longer game than Victoria 3, just keep in mind that EU5 is much longer than EU4. To do a full game to 1936 of Vic 3 in one afternoon? Yeah, pretty much. But then again, as always, it is a paradox game. The game is about as fast as you want it to be. Or it's about as slow as you want it to be, really. The game can be as fast as your computer can handle. The game can be as slow as you want it to be so you can think about things. We love min-maxing. It's kind of like I recently watched a video of someone who played the entirety of Clair Obscure Expedition 33 on, I think it was the hardest difficulty, without dodging, jumping, or parrying once. And it's like, if you want to do something like that, then obviously it takes a lot longer to beat the game. It's that kind of thing. You can impose your own objectives to make the game longer or shorter. Also, don't I have more subjects? More rebels? Like 7 people in the Alps? Okay, they're probably chilling. The -50 penalty from Concord kind of seems like a lot. But it's not that crazy. It just seems like a lot. The Serbians took Albania. I don't think... Oh, okay, I didn't have this subject around it. This is my Albania. That was a different Albania. I noticed when I was taking a screenshot, like, oh, there's an Albania here, but... Yeah, like, it was sort of greenish, but not my Albania. This one's mine. Although I might give my Albania the rest of that Albania. Oh, right, Savoy. Will you assimilate cultures? I mean, the game kind of does that by itself. Maybe. Okay, where's Kosovo? Over here. Why did I pick Kosovo? I have to siege like 4 forts to get at it. In order to siege this, I have to siege this. Or siege this down here. You know what? Yeah, we'll do this. We're gonna siege that, then go here, and then siege this, and then go up. And then temples... Temple... We can build more of these. No, we can't. Never mind. But yeah, I think I'm starting to realize that the reason we have so much extra trade capacity is because the burghers are doing a lot of trade. Except I can't even actually check that, can I? It has to be for individual goods. I have to check like, oh, the burghers are importing. Or, oh, the burghers are exporting, that kind of thing. Yeah, like the burghers are importing a ridiculous amount of clay. Maybe I should start getting more clay then. We check culture map mode. There's nothing crazy here. Tuscan isn't even that large. I think you should assimilate. It'll kind of happen on its own, I think. We probably don't have to do much. Although... Man, this game. Alright, I don't think we have to worry too much about this aggressive expansion because it looks bad. Or this antagonism, I mean. Because it looks bad, sure. And then you zoom out and you're like, oh. None of these countries are independent. It doesn't really matter that much. So instead of improving Diplo relations, I actually will assimilate area. And I think the best one to assimilate first is... Actually, I don't even know. Maybe it's Lazio. Actually, it's whatever's most expensive. So who's taking up my culture capacity? Median. Yeah, okay. We can do that. Burgers like pottery? They seem to, yes. What do you think they're making with said clay spittoons? They're making, oh man, this is an old meme. They're making the Etruscan boar. That's like a 2017 meme. Oh shoot, we have no food. Hold on. Why do we have no food? I don't know. We should leave though. Oh, because we need to siege this first, right? I also have a bunch of like general opinions on EU4. Or EU5. General EU5 and EU5 content opinions. I've seen from a bunch of people, a bunch of like, mostly not EU4 creators, that were like, man, I would love to make more EU5 videos, but actually the game is just too long. Like, to get anything done in this game, you just have to commit so much time. Which is kind of true. Who do I even want as the ruler? You'd probably make a fine ruler. You get to be in charge. But yeah, honestly, EU5 does just take like forever to make any content for. Oh, there's no food here. Shoot, that's why everyone's starving. So I can't even blame them. The game takes a really long time to play. Takes a really long time to make content on. Even when streaming, it kind of takes a while. It is one of the reasons why, like... I've been playing Factorio on streams this week for the most part. And I think kind of for the rest of January, I just want to do other things. I'm feeling a little EU5'd out. A slightly tough situation to be in when all the videos I make are actually EU5. But there may or may not at some point be like a Manor Lords video because I kind of want to check that out again. Oh, who is this? New character. Oh. Oh, but he's a holy man, I guess. Can't lead armies or the navy. Okay. Do we want to go naval or land? Definitely naval. Because our proximity doesn't really have to go too far inland. We got a lot of coasts in Italy. 2017 was 9 years ago. Don't remind me, please. We've had too much existentialism. Especially with the Factorio streams. Oh right, yeah, this guy doesn't... Wait, did he just die, I guess, maybe? But yeah, you're right, we do want to get the ruler to be an admiral. That is true. He does have a general trait. That sucks. You guys are going to rise up literally next month. Okay, go ahead. What are you even supposed to do when you're trying to invade a country and even they have no food? Like, no one has food. What am I supposed to do? Could prepare a colonial jumping off point. Could, that's true. Although, I actually don't remember what I said in the past few streams. I think I said something like, I'm actually probably not going to do colonial things. But I might. Maybe I need like a handful more levies. Let me just grab them from... I'm from there. You're not wrong. To make video content instead of streaming EU5 seems like it would take a long time to get anywhere. Not even just instead of streaming EU5, just instead of doing anything else. Like, let me give you an example. So, I think it was around a year and a half ago now. Or... yeah, a year and a half ago was roughly when I finished my degree. So, like, leading up to finishing my degree, I didn't put, like, that much time into each video because I didn't have that much time, you know? I was, like, you know, kind of busy finishing my degree and all that. So I could put in, like, I don't know, between like 5 and 8 hours would be enough footage recorded for, like, one EU4 video. And then I graduated, and I started making the Anbanar videos. In those videos, they could take... well, it kind of depended. So, like, for example, the Kobold video, the first one didn't take too long. The first Kobold video, I think, was, like, maybe 7 hours. But the second one took actually, like, 32. Because I played the entire rest of the campaign in that second video. Now, after making that video, I kind of vowed to myself, like, I'm never doing that again. It took way too long. It's not a very good payoff. But then EU5 comes along, and it's like, okay, if you want to get to... if you want to even get to 1444, you're putting in like 15 hours. If you want solid, decent gameplay up to 1444, you could kind of like, I guess, mess around and not really care about how your country's performing or how your gameplay is doing and get there faster, probably. I guess I could just like care a bit less. That's true. But since I feel like a compulsion to at least try in each of my videos, then it just sort of makes each of them take much longer than they used to. It's also because EU4 is just like a much slower game content-wise. Like, if you want to accomplish anything impressive, then you have to spend a lot of time. Whereas with EU4, you can spend like 8 hours and own half of Europe. I guess really it's just going to force us to change the way we make those videos, right? Where it's like, okay, well, doing anything impressive takes a while, so actually we might just do more like thematically focused things, you know? Do we have all windmills, sawmills, and smelters? No, we don't. Windmills in particular, we definitely don't. That's not the thing. Windmill. Yeah, that'll help the food market. I've always wondered, like, is it actually worth building these until you have... hold on. Yeah, so let's think about that. So you get 250 people, 10% local iron output. These are only really technically worth building in locations where you already have a large amount of iron or whatever RGO. Because a 10% increase for 250 laborers is, I think, just like a worse investment. Like, if you have one level of RGO, getting a second level is like a 100% increase for 1,000 laborers. So it has like a much better ratio, but maybe I'm kind of nitpicking when we have this much money and it doesn't matter that much. They're cost effective after it's already maxed out. Yeah, that's the thing. Exactly. Actually, I need embassies. Who are you? Doesn't matter. London, here. Embassies are just always good. Let's not forget we want to try and be friends with people, maybe? Actually, I might try to be friends with England. They do not want to be friends. Reasonable. The only thing that concerns me is, like, the France-Bohemia alliance, which is exceedingly cursed. So, until I can secure a similar alliance, like, if I could get Castile, maybe, but they don't really like me. Anyway, I should go over to my subjects and try to be nice. Becoming Protestant when the Reformation hits. I don't remember what we decided for that. Maybe. Because we kicked the Papal States out, but then they removed, or rather they moved themselves somewhere else and they actually like me. So... possibly. What I really want is to leave the HRE. I would like to become a kingdom, and the game is saying no. But I think that's dumb. Yeah, maybe be friends with Spain, maybe. Oh, am I trying to walk into the mountains? Probably. It's cooked. Okay, what can we take from Serbia? I want that, and I want that. And this, and this. I want Albania. Actually, I kind of just want the entire coastline that they have. Dude, this is so cheap to take. What is giving me this war score cost reduction? This is insane. Why is this actually free? That's crazy. Okay, I did declare... Oh, right, of course, it's because we're using the follow through on threat CB. That's the war score cost reduction. Usually I have like a 25% malice. But now we have a 25% improvement. Can I not take that? Oh, it's a subject I have to occupy. Also, is that Quebec? That's crazy. They invented Quebec in Greece. Even if you don't go colonial, you should conquer Carthage for the roleplay? Well, naturally, of course. I think it's just easier for us if we decide to conquer a bunch of, like... Well, I was going to say Catholic, but I guess Christian in general areas. I do like that Carthage seems to form very regularly. If you give them the opportunity, the Tunisians always choose to form Carthage. Man, this trade capacity just being absolutely squandered. I don't actually understand why none of these are going to make me any money. I need generalist gaming to come in and explain like what I'm doing wrong in this campaign. Why do I have so much extra capacity? Why do people not want to trade things? Why does my system not want to trade? Build RGOs? I mean, that's probably going to help, but at the same time, it's just like, oh, we have suggested imports and we make pretty reasonable money off this. And then it's like, actually, no. Maybe I do just need to make more things. Maybe I need to urbanize more? Could that be it? I could probably urbanize more. But when I'm trying to imagine places I want to urbanize, I look around and see a bunch of things I don't want to urbanize. Because I already make good money off of it. Or it's something that I don't have a lot of. I can probably urbanize this. I mean, it's stone. Who cares? Iron, I don't really want to urbanize. Mercury, I guess I could urbanize Mercury. Or make cities, that's true. If there's anywhere that we actually have pop for it. Like in Prato. Livorno? No, we don't have enough money for that. Could probably urbanize wine. Only urbanize marble. I just have to keep an eye on my food, which seems okay right now, but we had a problem with at the start of the stream. Isn't there a current bug that makes the automated trade underutilize trade capacity? Is there ever not a bug involving trade in this game? I don't know. That's one of the biggest issues I have with the game right now, is that I genuinely don't know when something is buggy, or if I am just... Is it user error? Is it player error? Or is it a bug? And I can't figure it out. Maybe. I'm sorry to say, I've returned to the Anbanar launcher. Honestly, I cannot blame you, and when they release the update, we will be playing Anbanar. You too, chat. We will all be playing Anbanar. Let me check my presents. Okay, could be a little better. Could be quite a bit better. Then where's my trade fleet over here? Oh, here we go. Okay, yeah, you're still assigned to this entire region, right? We should also integrate this guy. Yeah. 69, 66, and 70. Okay. 3 annexations simultaneously, that's probably fine. I've seen multiple content creators say they notice it. I've also encountered it. Okay. Any hints on when that's happening? Honestly, I don't really know. Maybe because I still need to check with them. Oh, that's expensive. Let's not touch that. I would actually love to do a very similar thing to what we did with the last Anbanar update. Which was, you know, they revealed the trailer, we had a stream, we had a Q&A. That was pretty cool. I would definitely be down to do another one of those. I wonder if I'm still worthy at this point, because it has been a little bit since my last Anbanar video. But, you know, EU5 came out, so I'm sure they understand. But if they want to do that, I would love to do that. I think I got myself locked into the mountains. Hold on. Actually, I think I would like to take that back. Oh, can't do that. I have no mill access through Bulgaria, and they don't like me. Well, shoot. Could you, like, fix that, maybe? Maybe in this case, actually, because I might have a better idea here. What if they keep their subjects, and I take a bunch of stuff, and then I fully annex them and inherit their subjects at the next war? I feel like that's a better idea. Are you winning, Song? I feel like I'm winning maybe slightly too hard. But then again, I'm looking at Bohemia, and this is exceedingly cursed. Is that a coalition war? No. They're just beating up Hungary and the Teutons. That's cool. That's neat. Magic update coming soon, TM. Actually, I would like to see... Do they announce anything in the Enbanar Discord? Let's check the EU4 teasers. Okay, nothing crazy in the EU4 teasers. They just have some dev diaries. Magic rework. Cool. Any announcements on that? Nope. Okay, yeah, I don't know anything about what or when. You could probably ask them if they want to do one. Maybe. Yeah, I mean, if they're already planning to make a trailer for it, then I would love to host that trailer again. That would be cool. That's weird. It needs to be occupied. Oh, who is this? Bulgaria, you scoundrel. You fiend, you. Okay, yeah, that sucks. I might want to peace out soon, actually. Because I don't have anyone in a position to secure this stuff. Oh, but then of course it makes it impossible for me to peace out because it would leave them too fractured. Thanks, Bulgaria. It's so cursed that genuinely I might have to do something like this just to peace out. I hate that. Okay. Well, new plan. Maybe we actually just do that. This is so cursed. Maybe you should ally with Bulgaria. Maybe I should consume Bulgaria. Maybe Bulgaria needs to become the province of whatever they called it before it was Bulgaria. What do I even give you? You want that? No, I want that. That's kind of cursed. It's worth 4? Well, I guess it is sort of near the capital. Such a cursed peace deal. It was like Thrace or something? Yeah. I think Bulgaria needs to become the province of Thrace again. Okay, how bad is this? Venice doesn't like it, but Venice isn't real. Sorry, Cleo. Freising doesn't matter. Let me scroll until I find someone that matters. Bulgaria, kind of. France, you make a strong argument. Carthage, not really, they don't care that much. Yeah, I guess this will be the peace deal. Okay, cool. Ooh. Hey! Dissolve the Patriarchate for 3,000 ducats. Why not? Alright, does France actually hate me like that? I feel like they don't. Okay, maybe they do a little bit. I did actually invade them and steal stuff. That gives permanent negative heathen tolerance, though? Or negative heretic tolerance? Wait, for dismantling one of those things? It can't be that bad. It's permanent? Permanent. And it stacks. And this made it out of the testing phase? Maybe it says decaying until the end of the game. So like... So it decays until 1836? You did destroy one of the patriarchates? Okay, but permanent? I would understand if it's like 100 years or something. Like, alright, that's reasonable. But like, it gets weirder because it's... What about the Protestants, right? Do they care that much that I've destroyed an autocephalous patriarchate? Well, clearly they're about to. Because it's all heretical beliefs. Alright, hold on. Let me just see how bad it is. It can't be that bad. Before I crash out, let me make sure it's a reasonable crash out. I feel like my crash out is reasonable. -4 for the entire rest of the game. And they looked at that and they said, yeah. Put that in the live version. Bro, you can't be serious. Not the -4 permanent. Not the -4 permanent. It's cooked. Okay, we're gonna have to convert everyone to Catholicism. That's cool. That's great. Alright, Albania. You can have Albania. There you go. I guess we just have to make a new Serbia out of Serbia. What's this historical country? We have a Greek one. Epirus? I guess we could release Epirus. Oh, we could release Athens. Yeah, we'll do that. And we'll give Athens this. Alright, I have Naxos here. Oops. Well, that's from Venice, I think. Maybe. We could release Epirus. It's not even that big. And then I'll release another country in Greece, on this side of the mountains. And then Albania, I'm assuming, doesn't have very good proximity. They do not. Is there anything important here? Not really. I guess I could give that to Albania. And we'll make a subject. We'll make one up here. Yeah, we can probably make some decently sized subjects at this point. Check it again at the start of the next year. It goes down by 0.01 per year. It will literally take 400 years to go away. The patriarchate is real business, man. You did just break the guys that broke the whole of Christianity. Well, okay, listen. I feel like the problem really that I have with it is that it applies to all heathens, or sorry, all heretics. Like, it's one of those things that conceptually makes sense until you put it into practice, and now the Protestants hate you because you destroyed a patriarchate. And, like, that doesn't make sense, I think. Maybe we need something more specific. Actually, don't they have a mechanic for this? Like, I'm pretty sure they do. They can be like, oh, the Orthodox view of Catholicism decreases. Like, you could do that. Because now it's even funkier, because now the Orthodox view of Catholicism is like, oh yeah, they're chill. They're fine. Yeah, they destroyed the entire patriarchate, but that's cool. If you choose instead to maintain it, you get the opposite modifier. Okay, so the next one we take, we'll just keep it. That's fine. But like, yeah, within the country, I feel like you could have views of one religion on the other. Like, each country, I think, should actually have an individual set of this. Like, how they view each other. And it should affect this, and instead of being global, of course, it's like within the country. So the Orthodox citizens, or the Orthodox subjects within the country, don't like the Catholic clergy in particular, because They're the ones most affected, I guess? I don't know. I don't know exactly how I would do this. I just don't like the way it's done right now. Yeah, I guess we'll give Kosovo that too. And then what I want to do is make a subject along this coastal area. And it's going to get this stuff. And then a second subject up here. Oh wait, I misread that. You said if it goes down by 0.01 per year. It might not do that. That's a really good point. Okay, we might be done conquering for a bit. Yeah, okay. Let's not conquer anything else. Oops, let's not do that. It said decaying until the end of the game, so I don't know. Yeah, like you could reasonably assume. Probably. You might be right. Okay, how about we create some more ships, actually? And we are losing money partially from this. Partially from massive Diplo spending. But I think our main issue is, of course, that the burgers still are not paying taxes. That's a little loud, eh? Okay, patrician insurgents, except it's literally like 7 people. And they're upset because... yeah, it's just the conquer penalty. Okay, maybe we will reduce army maintenance. Fort maintenance. We're still paying for food. Well, we're also selling food, but... Naples has no money? Why? Why are you broke? Or no food, rather? Have you considered not starving? Oh, you know what it might be? No, actually, never mind. I was gonna say, oh, if you have low control, then you literally produce less output. But that is, I think, not actually how RGOs work. That is how the buildings work. I'm pretty sure they get an actual output reduction, maybe, from the market access. Or actually, they get a flat money decrease. That's what it is. Like, I think the goods are still produced. Oh, never mind. No, it is an actual amount produced reduction. But not for RGOs. They don't do that. Yeah, they don't do that. Did you take the gold and silver mines from Serbia? Did I? That's a good question. I managed to miss both of them. Well, there's the one in here. There are actually quite a few silver mines. 1, 2, 3. Okay, there are quite a few. The gold mine, we did actually manage to miss. That's embarrassing. Did I actually build the Pound Lock Canal? Yes. All bridges, actually. Bridge, we could build a few. Bridges, canal. We can get a handful. RGOs, the food and goods produced, are entirely separate statistics. Yeah. It's the number of puffs working on it times the RGO / food production efficiency. Yes. Not just in the Florence market. Oh, did I not, oops. Bridge, remove that. There we go. Yeah, still not too many. Most of them are in Venice, but... Oh, actually, okay, we have a few over here. That's true. I think what I really need to do is, well, this is turning into a city, I think. But I think I mentioned something like, oh, I want a line of cities with Pound Lock canals going through them here. But that would kind of get in the way of the wheat production at some point. And we'd have to convert this cotton province into a town. Which isn't the end of the world, it would just make less money. I think. Actually, are my roads even that good? No, they're not. My roads suck, actually. Because we don't have a road going from here to here. Which we should. And then we could definitely improve this. We could improve that. I think we should try and improve this. We would love to build the better roads, we just don't have printing press yet. Which is... where? Kamiura. Where's Kamiura? There's no way, man. Bro. We're so cooked. Man. Printing press spawning in Japan. It's cooked. Man, at least New World is in Sevilla. That's good. Oh. You can still get it from the could have spawned it spread? Where does that happen? Next update is soon. It is not. Promote urbanization, that's cool, except it only creates one town, and we can do that pretty much every 3 months. So, do we have a better version of this? Yes, perfect, we'll take that. I think we do actually want to support communal values. And then we'll see what happens. Any province that could have spawned an institution also gets growth for it. Okay, I kind of want to check then. Because... like, honestly, I don't know how much I'm believing that, because it's nowhere else right now. I don't even know where to begin to check for that. New World? Sure. There's just no printing press. You get growth, it doesn't spawn in immediately? I mean, I'm looking for the growth right now. Like, what are the qualifications? That's a real question, because I don't know what the qualifications are. Can I check? Well, no, because it doesn't pop up. I can't even, like, look at it on the map. You can see provinces like Krakow and Halich. Where's Krakow? I'm not seeing the base growth. Maybe wait the month tick? It's been like 30 years since it spawned. You can check on the previous screen. Am I crazy? I don't know where to find it. For printing press, that's producing 5 paper, 20 towards innovative university, 1,000 burgers, and renaissance. Okay, let's see if we meet the qualifications then. Producing 5 paper. How much paper do we produce? In the capital. We also just don't... No, we do have enough burgers. Wait a second. How do we have unemployment in the capital? Whatever, man. Okay, so... we do not make that much paper. Where are we getting our paper from? I guess we just produce enough? Okay, sure. You're still in the institutions map mode? I don't know, man. Okay, so if Nice is the highest, maybe I should just get it to spawn in Nice. How much paper do you have in total? Oh, you can only make like 1 more. Okay, Actually, we're just going to build a bunch of paper in the capital. I'm pretty sure you always need a bunch of paper in the capital, so it's kind of weird that we just don't have much, but I guess I just never built it. So how many would we need in that case? Like 10 paper makers? This is 5 and they produce 4, so 10 should be overkill. Okay. 20 towards innovative. I'm pretty sure we're above 20 towards innovative. No, we're not. That's surprising. I guess I just never pushed for it. Okay, so we need more innovative. A university. Surely we have universities, right? Did I ever research those? Yeah. Yeah, okay. We have a few. Maybe I should build more of these to increase the demand for paper. Oh, I know why we don't have much innovative. Because I've been integrating everything. I've spent so much time integrating stuff. Oh, also, I might revoke fortification licenses, maybe? Kinda costs a lot. Do we have any other Crown Cabinet members, just so I can check real quick? No. Okay, never mind. Okay, yeah, we're gonna revoke that. Yeah. And then maybe we'll bribe them. Ugh. Another minus 10%? Really? Right now? Just after I did that? Well, okay, we already have some... Well, no, hold on. I might have just done something really stupid. We're gonna take this. But I might have done something really stupid. Because the nobility that are upset right now, yeah. Yeah, because they're at 95%, because it was like 7 people, but now it's not 7 people. Because I revoked that. Yeah, we'll give them something else that's actually useful. Nobility-controlled serfdom is not too bad. Yeah, you can have that, I guess. You end up with a little more power than before, but then they have like a much higher equilibrium. Then we're going to reduce taxes. Okay, how do the nobility feel now? A little bit less upset. Yeah, okay, so a lot of these are going to become, I think, loyal next month. These guys are actually already loyal, because they're above 32%. So they should leave right now, I think. But they don't because there's some extra hidden mechanic that the game doesn't tell you or something, I don't know. Well, some of them left, actually. I guess if we really wanted to, we could just very briefly suppress the patricians. I'm tired of having all this trade capacity and it's not doing anything, so I'm just gonna spam these. Until eventually all the trade capacity is used up. That might be crippling my... Yep, that cripples my economy, never mind. Okay. Let's see. Sorry. Oh right, being a great power, I forgot that cripples your economy. Being a hegemony, that cripples your economy. Parliament being in session, I forgot that does that too. Okay, that's nice. We could trim this a little bit. But not much. Okay. This should be fine in a little bit. How is this looking actually? Slowly improving. Oh, right. That's the other thing. Because of the way, I'm just realizing why everything's going so poorly. Like, I think I've just figured it out. It's because we formed Italy in 1440. That's literally it. Like, I cannot integrate or accept all of these cultures. And, let me check. Yeah, our integration status here does not extend into here or here or here. They're not integrated because I didn't turn them into a subject and then integrate them. Instead, I just directly took the territory. And that's a big problem. I guess we could look at the different cultures and figure out which ones we should accept. Like, Lombard is not a terrible idea, it just kind of costs a lot. I think at the very least we should probably tolerate the remaining Italian cultures. Sicilian, that's a big one for sure. Piedmontese. Maybe just like all of them. Because we do get a slight penalty here, but honestly, this is a kind of nothing burger penalty. Just accept the cultures you need for cores, you can unaccept them once you've gotten the cores. Don't you also get like a happiness penalty for unaccepting them? Yeah, but that's temporary. I mean, I guess. It's kind of weird that you get to keep the cores after that. I don't know why they did that. But, yeah, I guess we could. We could, couldn't we? We could accept and then demote Venetian, for example. I think I'm going to do that once I have more stability. Conquering China right now, I'm starting to understand why so many Chinese dynasties didn't expand much. You've got so many pops, you can just keep reinvesting in your own territory. That's true, but also, I think another reason why a lot of Chinese dynasties didn't conquer much outside of, like, the core area that we recognize as, like, China, which I guess it has, like, a lot of overlap with, like, EU4 Ming at the start of the game. I think another reason for that is because China is just surrounded by, like, to the west you have mountains, to the north you have the steppe, to the south, well, they could have taken Vietnam, I guess, but you start to get into, like, a bunch of jungles. But that wouldn't be that big of a problem. I don't know. But yeah, as it turns out, China's pretty big, with a lot of people in it. China tried taking Vietnam, turns out they're difficult to subjugate. I actually don't remember what that war was. Was that a Qing era thing? Because I think I briefly remember that, but I don't remember when it was. We're gonna crack down the Alpine Patriots. Oh no, they're like 7 people there. That doesn't matter. The commoners are also like 7 people. Sicily, that's the one we actually need to crack down. No, that was the Ming era. Oh, I see. Pretty sure there were several, probably. Naval hegemony. Oh no. My cost of court is going to be enormous. The thing is, getting like naval hegemon, I don't even care that much. Like, what does this actually do for me? Naval damage taken reduction. Force embargo. Force the merchants of a country to stop trading with another, I guess. Maritime support. Oh, that's cool, actually. That's really useful. Never mind, this is kind of cracked. Global local maritime presence? Wait, no, this has to be a specific region, doesn't it? There's no way that's countrywide. Ah, of course. Never mind. Never mind. It's not as cracked as I thought. That's kind of mid. What else do you get here? Weird that you need military hegemony to violate sovereignty. Okay. Soldiers as workforce for construction speed, I guess. Hegemonies are, yeah, they're really not that good. They kind of cost a lot, and you sort of stumble your way into them. You're like, ah, shoot, I got a hegemony, oops. Like that kind of thing. Yeah, at least in EU4 you could be like, actually, I have a couple countries I want to be allies with. I'm not going to pick up hegemony. In EU5 it's like, oh, you have a lot of ships? That's going to be an extra 1% cost of court each month, please. Culture and military are okay. The others are just whatever. Yeah, the naval one is kind of whatever in my opinion. Why is income that low? Basically, a great power moment. We're spending a lot on the cost of court. We're spending a lot on Diplo. A lot on building maintenance for the army. And marketplaces that are not making their trade value back because for some reason, I don't know, trade is just kind of whack. I guess I could build more trade in Venice and Naples. That's true. Let me see here. Marketplace. Not in Florence. It'll also help me assimilate the area a little bit. Okay, that'll do. New ruler, right, that's every 6 years, I think. Oh, we could re-elect this guy. Honestly, re-electing just isn't as good in EU5. A marriage union with one of my subjects? That's not a big deal. Okay, so you're actually no longer the consul. Oh, no, right, you're the husband of a vassal. Wait. You're in charge. Oh, right, you used to be this guy. I should have checked that first. Oh, well. So what are you doing right now? Nothing, okay. Can you lead the Navy? Oh, no, right, I forgot. Ah, shoot, this guy has special traits. He can't lead armies or navies. That sucks. Never mind. I should have checked that first. Oh, you know what's really funny? Hold on, I have to sneeze. You know what's really funny? Okay, we checked this, right? And it's like, wait a second, he has a general trait. Oh, but he also has an admiral trait. And that's because these are technically admiral and general traits. If you can't lead an army, it's a general trait, so you become more land-focused. Fortunately, he's also unsuited for naval command, but that's kind of funny. I guess we're going to have to become more spiritualist in this campaign. We might have to convert everyone to Catholicism. Also, a bug for having admiral succession law. Oh, I forgot that was a thing. Actually, can I do that? Right now I have sortition. Admiralty regime. What's that bug exactly? Oh, like whoever's the ruler is unsuited for general service, but because that's a general trait, it moves you closer to land. Is that what you mean? Dynastic Signoria. Oh, if you form Italy from... Oh, never mind. Right, we're playing Florence, so we can't do this. Unless... a crown estate has greater than 30% crown power. Don't I have that? We did for a second. Oh, right. We can't have a guy who's the leader of anything right now, so we don't get that crown power, which is the easiest source of crown power. Well, we could get more crown power once we get... House of Parliament. If you become a theocracy as a land power, it's quite annoying to get people elected because that's your succession law by default. Lovely. If you become a theocracy... Wait. Your succession law is the, not the admiral elective. That wouldn't make sense. Oh, but if you become a theocracy, you get, what, the military order? Is that it? Oh, hold on. France and England fighting? My favorite? What if I actually fight Bohemia? Never mind. Well, maybe. Because if we fight Bohemia, we might be able to leave the HRE. I think we have to force ourselves out through a peace deal. Very difficult thing for us to do, considering we basically have to cross through the Alps and siege our way up into Prague. You do become Admiral Elective. As long as you don't have a major reform, you can become an order. Oh, I see. Can probably win the war. It's just going to take a bit more work than the Serbia one. Yeah. I think it would be nice, actually, if we could also just drive a wedge between France and Bohemia. Which might be doable depending on how low we can get France's levy availability and their debt. Maybe we can improve their opinion of us. Not much, but it might do something. Okay, we're also over 20 innovative, so let's double check these requirements. We're producing 7.6 paper. Okay. We are over 20 innovative. We have over 1,000 burgers. And we have a university in here, I think. Yeah, we have a university. So we should be able to generate the printing press, right? But I don't see it. There's still no printing press. Yeah, we'll put a spy network in Bohemia. That's a good idea. I'm also just checking back and forth between these two. Because if I need to, I could actually just independently go to war with France. If Bohemia won't join. But I would like to declare war on Bohemia specifically. For that, though, of course, we are going to need a CB. Which we do not have. But we could pick up in 19 months. We'll see about that. Don't tell me it's something like it only starts growing if you had those requirements met when the institution first spawned. I don't think that's it. But it may very well be something like, okay, you get to spawn printing press if you're on the same continent and you have these requirements. That seems more likely to me. And you know what? It's not like I'm getting achievements in this run anyway. I do actually want to check something. So yeah, we're gonna world map, and I just wanna spoilers low-key, but how are these institutions looking? Like, Japan obviously has printing press. But I'm trying to figure out, like, is it spawning in other parts of Asia? And, like, it might be just by looking at this map, you know? Like, it might... Let's just check dive yet. Oh, right, we have to change the game rule. There we go. Yeah, we're just gonna do a check and dive yet. Like, are they spawning it, maybe? Are you spawning this institution? You have printing press. Okay. So it might just be the continent thing. You have printing press. You have printing press. What are you missing, actually? Oh, you're missing New World, of course. Okay, so that has to be how it is then, right? Like, so same continent. You can spawn institutions if you meet certain requirements. That's why we see printing press here. That's why we see printing press in Orissa. That's why we see printing press, presumably in here. Yep, they're generating printing press. Why? Because, okay, well, they're importing and exporting, so maybe that's not helpful. Let's check somewhere even further. Let's check in the Jalayarid Horde here, because that looks like it has the institution. You're getting printing press from imports, not on its own, from imports. Are you getting printing press? No. Do you have printing press? No. You're getting printing press from importing and exporting. Okay, the exporting thing, I've never even seen that before, but I guess that's new. So none of these locations are actually generating it on its own. They're just spreading it. Well, then again, none of these places are actually making that much paper either. It's hard to check. I think there's a decent chance that they just spread through trade rather than being created. It seems increasingly likely. It also means that these institutions are spreading pretty quick. Interesting. Even up here in Tibet? Well, yeah, because it's a trade capital, I think. So of course they're getting printing press from importing and exporting. Okay, weird. But I guess if it's all the way over here, then it should spread kinda soon. Hopefully. Yeah, the exporting thing is definitely new. Hello, Valar. Also, I'm going to quickly use the washroom before we continue this. I will be right back. Oh my goodness. I missed the raid. My bad. Welcome everyone. Welcome raiders. Sorry, I just went to the washroom real quick. Hello everybody. Thank you very much, Alar de Goat, for the raid. Hope everyone was having a good stream over there. What were you playing? Hopefully this command still works. Actually, don't they have a built-in system? For shoutouts now? I don't know, I just have this. I have the bot command. There you go. The actual shoutout. Those are doing the same campaign. Oh yeah. Italy's a good one. But it's also a very powerful start. So it might get a little boring. Maybe. I was AFK and I thought you actually got war decked. I wish the EU5 war deck sound was as ominous as the EU4 one. Because then I would use that one instead. Anyway, right, yeah, we got a whole bunch of weird things from doing a little peek over in Asia. Speaking of trade, may I ask if AI ever re-exports goods, like importing goods from one trade center and then selling to another, or only players can do that? I think that does happen naturally. I'm pretty sure the trade system is sophisticated enough to make that happen. And I have no good evidence for that, to be honest. But I'm pretty sure it is sophisticated enough to do that. All that it really means is, like, you'll export something to one market. Well, hold on a second. Is it sophisticated enough to do that? Because you kind of have to have a demand first, but that demand needs to start somewhere. Oh yeah, never mind, that should work, I think. But I think you have to sort of give it a catalyst. It should work. But I think you need a catalyst because it depends on the demand for those goods, right? So until you introduce a certain good to a market, then the pops there don't really want that thing, which they did intentionally because it was kind of a problem where you had pops in Europe that had a high demand for rice, but there was like no rice. So they fixed that. Now if pops have never heard of rice, they're not going to ask for rice. But that also means that if they've never heard of spices, they're not going to ask for spices. So I think you sort of need to create a demand for it, and then once you have a demand, then the automatic trade system will be like, hey, we want to import some of these things from, I don't know, Persia, right? Let's say that they have a demand for spices. Just because they've heard of them, so of course their nobles want them. And then, like, oh, we want spices too, we're going to import from Persia, and they're like, wait, we don't have enough spices for that, we need to import more from here. I think the system is able to do that. Maybe. Like, the theory behind it works. But it's very possible that it never happens because of, I don't know, trade maintenance costs or the AI not building enough trade or something. But like, theoretically. Anyway, let's keep on building a little bit. Embassies are nice. Do I actually have a royal garden yet? Oh, of course, we don't get a royal garden because we're a republic. Never mind. Okay. See, the royal garden is really nice because it gives us extra diplomats each month. And we do want more of those, but we can't have them. I heard it only exports if there's a surplus, but stops importing if there's a surplus. Maybe, and maybe that's a problem. That could be. Need to turn into a monarchy, build the garden, and turn back. I don't know about that one. Will you assimilate? I don't know. We're just gonna do it naturally. The answer is yes, because that's just how the game functions. Oh, right. We lost all of our control groups because I did the little thing. Hold on. Let me want to go over here. We're going to make HRE 4th control group and Pope 5th control group. Okay, did that mess up my automation? No. Okay. Doesn't do it well. It does it all right. Like, let's see here. Over in Rome, we have like 12% Tuscan. That's not Rome. Over in Rome, we have 19% Tuscan. It kind of gets there eventually. But yeah, let's look at our other markets here. Venice, I guess, could use a little more trade maybe. Naples has way too much at this point. Actually, yeah, Venice is capped. Maybe we build more marketplaces in Venice. It's probably good enough. Trades have reduced effective market price impact, i.e. they only affect the market price to a very low extent because AI trades look only at profit. Second step in the trade chain is never made. Because AI trades only look at profit. That is true. I guess the AI's ability to predict the increase in demand and thus the increase in profit is not very good. We're going to pick up meritocratic leadership. We're going to assimilate for cores. Probably not 4 cores. My current plan right now actually is for the cultures that we have. Okay, this got weirdly large actually. Oh, because I probably... Yeah, I got a few more pops down here. I think. Anyway, the main plan here is that we're going to increase our cultural influence, which is going to help us assimilate more passively, and it's going to help us reduce the cost of a lot of these cultures as they become smaller, and then we're just going to integrate other cultures. We're going to accept them. If anything, we might accept a culture for cores and then demote it. The passive assimilation kinda sucks, but like it's not that bad. Especially once you build more like universities and stuff. Actually, not just universities, what do we want? We want docks. This is just for naval or harbor capacity. And we want also, I think, the protected harbors. We also need our ships over here to cover this area. And then these ships need to cover this whole area. Yeah, we do not get that much. Why is that actually? Because it's 2 steps into here. The harbor capacity here is just kind of all right. But we're getting dry docks soon, so it should help. Are you able to improve cultural opinion? Not right now. But I think in a couple of years we might be able to. Right, what is that? 1 location over here? The benchmark for pop demands is 20 and 30 development. Then it exponentially increases afterwards. Wait, it's development based and not... I thought it was literacy based. Why am I at war with Hungary? This one mechanic is going to cause me to crash out a little bit. Man, I hate this. I love how, like, just 70 people. Hold on, hold on. Actual number check. Actual number check. First rebellion against Croatia, right? Okay. And which tag is this? Where's Croatia? Right here? Which tag is that? Who is it? Is it Stolp? No, it's a fiefdom. Where is it? I don't even know, man. But it's like... I'm getting infinite brain damage from this. It's like a psychic attack against me. I hate having to fight these wars where it's like, oh yeah, 71 people in Croatia wanted to not be part of Croatia. Therefore, we need a war between Hungary and Poland versus the Republic of Italy. Like, why are we doing this? Why is this possible, man? It really is like this kind of thing that gets me to stop playing the game. You can look at pop demands by looking at them on the demographic tab in a location by hovering over the pop type. Because they didn't assimilate their pops. Yeah, I guess that really is it, because they didn't assimilate their pops. Yep. Okay, let me break down exactly why this is the worst mechanic that has ever been created for any Paradox game. And I might be hyperbolic, but just let me have this. So you have... I don't even know who revolted here. Maybe it's like one location somewhere, maybe. Clearly it's like, it's Croatia, right? So it might have actually been this one location. It might have been. I'm not too sure. It has a majority Croatian population. And I did try to give all of those to Croatia. So... maybe it was this. I also tried to like demarcate this river as the border. But it's also not part of any of these provinces. Right, that's a different province. So maybe I didn't do that. I don't know. Anyway, my main point, or maybe it's this. Could be. My main point here is that there are a handful of pops somewhere that decided they wanted to leave Croatia and start a rebellion. Maybe it's like one location, whatever. The main problem, actually, is that Croatia is the war leader. So because some Hungarian pops revolted against Croatia, they brought in Hungary. And because Hungary's allied to Poland, they brought in Poland. But they don't make me the war leader. No, it's Croatia. Which means that even if you annex the revolter, which you can't, by the way, you can't annex the revolter because there is no revolter. The tag doesn't exist. They just join Hungary. But because we can't do that, first of all, I don't even know how this war is going to end. Actually, I have an idea how it's going to end, which is even stupider, but we'll get to that in a second. We cannot sign a separate peace deal. We cannot go to Hungary and say, hey man, I really don't like the fact that you joined this rebellion. I think I'm going to divide your country into 17 pieces in retribution for you starting a war against me, essentially. We don't get to do that. We just have to fight until the defensive war is over, and then we get to click the magical button. But I forgot, this button is also broken. So at the end of this war, what's going to happen, I think, is Croatia gets to annex all of Hungary. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. We're gonna see that in action, I think. I might actually just use my regular army. I don't know if I can be bothered to raise levies for this. We'll see. Although I might need, yeah, more manpower. Same thing happened in my recent Ottoman game. Big Georgia supported like 100 guys who rose up, immediately got wiped, and then left me in the war with Georgia. Yep. And it's actually even worse the other way around, in my opinion. When someone else has some people of your culture that rise up against them in revolt, and it drags you into the war. You don't even get a choice. Hold on, our commander sucks, but I think it's a little too late to swap him out. No, it isn't. We have to wait, like, what? A week for him to arrive? That's fine. We get there on the 12th. Okay. Casualties look fine, maybe? Oh yeah, we're chilling. Okay. Total infantry captured. What do you mean, total infantry captured? Okay, anyway. Nice hat, thank you. But yeah, basically, another stream of remembering why I should wait until the next update. What are you most excited about for the next patch? Having a playable game. I think that's a really good one. Very excited for that. Might as well wait until the end of the... Yeah, we'll do this. There we go, we get some more manpower back. I didn't expect the entire enemy army here. I'm looking forward to booting this game up on like February 15th or whenever that update releases. And I'm looking forward to not encountering this issue, where I'm forced to fight other countries. They don't even declare war against me. We're actually both forced into this fight. Nobody wants to fight this war. They don't want to fight it. I don't want to fight it. But we forgot to ask. Isn't there someone you forgot to ask? And that someone is the game mechanics. Isn't there someone you forgot to ask? And that someone is 17 Hungarians living in Croatia. Alright, we'll expand the gravel road network, I guess. Build a few more of these. Okay, and then I think... Do we actually get a road from Venice into here? No, I figured we wouldn't, but... It's worth a check. Alright, that's probably fine for roads. Somewhat realistic, to be fair. I think this is one of those instances where we really can't say that it was like... Except in the case, it's like, hey, wasn't there that war where this one guy stole another dude's bucket? And then they had a war because of it? And it's like, it's one of those, I guess, like, sure, it's realistic, in a sense. Like, yep, that did happen. That is one of the things of all time. It's like that level of realism. I guess it would happen IRL, but only if the bigger powers wanted a war. That's the thing, like... It really is the situation that both sides are forced into a war. Not because either side wants to fight it or thinks they can win or just wants to use it as an excuse, but instead because it's like some divine power is literally forcing them to fight. Like, someone mentioned World War I, and it's like, yeah. But in that case, everyone kind of wanted to fight each other for different reasons, at least a little bit. Like, the World War I situation was sort of like a, you know, we might as well take the opportunity sort of situation. It means a lot by a little bit. Yeah. The World War I situation, like it's a Penguin Zero video. Like, I'm pretty sure the powers that be in Germany wanted to fight Russia because they were worried about Russian industrialization. They also kind of wanted to... They kind of wanted to dunk on France at least a little bit. And especially they kind of wanted to, I think, beat up the British Navy. And the British wanted to beat up the German Navy. So they kind of wanted to have that fight. I don't even know what Italy was doing, actually. I don't remember. Everyone wanted to test their new shiny guns. That was maybe also one of the motivations, but I don't remember that part. Oh yeah, Italy wanted their lands back from Austria, that's true. I think Italy wanted more than they got back, or that they got out of the war. Oh, of course, he's insane too. That's lovely. Sure. Actually, I should have reduced his military abilities. Oh well. Didn't they switch sides last minute? Italy? I don't remember. But yeah, when we're talking about this situation, where it's like, there's a very small revolt in Croatia. Therefore, all of Hungary needs to fight Italy. A war which I think they know they could not win. Actually, maybe they don't know they couldn't win that. It's not like they have a choice in the matter, but... I don't know. Maybe they actually have no idea. Well, the thing is, I haven't even raised levies. So when we look at this and it's like, oh, they have 50,000 troops, we could field another 83,000. I just can't be bothered. It's also just not good for, like, the food economy. which is still not doing too hot. Raising levies can have a really bad impact on long-term population growth. That's also true. Alright, wasn't I going to get a CB on Bohemia? This is the only war I actually wanted to fight. But I guess now they're kind of recovering, so... never mind. My levies even recovered at this point. Kind of? Sort of? Especially if they die, I mean... it's kind of true of whoever dies. If soldiers die, I think they also reduce the population, don't they? Military hegemon, bro. Please stop giving all these hegemonies to me. I don't want them. You can take them back. Aw, man. Oh, and they even staffed it. Hold on. That's a really quick siege timer. 12 days. Oh, okay. Who am I fighting now? Who is this? Who is Stolp? Okay, I'm done, bro. This game, this is absurd. This entire game is absurd. The whole thing's cooked. Why am I fighting Stolp? Why die for dancing? Literally. Oh my god, man. It's just like I'm taking damage from this game. The longer I play, like I can feel my cell membranes collapsing with every second I stay on this game. What are those things called? Like the axial sheaths of my neurons are actively decaying. Before long, if I play this game, I will be literally brain dead. It's just so cooked, man. It doesn't make any sense. I don't even know what to do. First rebellion against Croatia. War leader. Stolp. I was at least willing to fight this war until we can annex Hungary, because at least it would be funny, right? But now it's not even funny. Now it's just heartbreaking. Now it's just demoralizing. Who knows, maybe it'll flip back to Hungary. This is why I keep the land, so I'm the war leader. I get what you're saying, but at the same time, the way that EU5 encourages you to use as many subjects as possible, and then implements the worst possible way of having subjects interact with this revolt mechanic. It's like, even if you play well, the game is like, oh yeah, you sure about that? How about you fight 17 forever wars against Hungary, in which you can't take any territory from them? Oh yeah, you wanted to play optimally? You wanted to play the game well? Well, here are the consequences, buddy, and it's just like 7 wars that you can't do anything about. That's actually, I was playing a game as Sukhothai, right? Sukhothai into Siam. And the problem is that, like, the Khmer Empire is massive, right? So you can't take much from them in each war. But every time I would take something, I would give it out to my subjects. But of course, because my subjects end up having revolts of the Khmer culture, it brings in, or the Cambodian culture, it brings in Khmer into that war. And it did that, like, I think I kind of got used to it after, like, the 4th war. And then I think it was the 5th war where we had this bug that swaps the war leader. It is Khmer culture? Okay. And then after that bug, it just annexed all of Khmer. And I guess it's nice that the bug has a second bug to keep it in check, but it's just exhausting. Don't worry, sometimes you'll have this bug, and then the game will allow you to annex, like, all of Hungary, for example. And then I guess the bug solved. We did it, guys. Oh yeah, that Independence War is like 7 people, I think. But who knows, it might call in France or something. You can never be too safe. Who really knows? What culture is this? Gallo-Italic. Ah, Piedmontese. Surely France will not intervene against this. Probably. Surely. Surprised that one of your own revolts doesn't call you against yourself. Fortunately, we're not Piedmontese culture, so that might be it. Okay, honestly, I don't even know if I want to keep playing this one. I don't know if I want to keep playing this one. Because the thing is, it's like, I could finish this war. But you know what's going to happen in another 30 minutes? You know what's going to happen in like another 15 years of gameplay? There's going to be a second war. Because nothing's actually changed. It's going to be like, I don't even know. It's going to be like we're going to have a revolt in here, in this one location, and we're just going to be fighting Bulgaria as well. Is it a coalition war? It's worse. It's a rebellion in one of my subjects. This is all one rebellion in one subject. Maybe if you enforce culture on the subject, you can make them assimilate into it. No, I think that's going to be even worse. Because they need to assimilate it into Croatian. The problem is that if even one Hungarian exists in a province, and they don't accept Hungarian, there's going to be another revolt that's going to start another war. If even one Hungarian exists in Croatia, we will have infinite forever wars against Hungary. Game broken. This may be true. Many are saying this. How do you even fix this? Not make it possible for outside interference in your subject revolts? Well, they're gonna put a band-aid on it in the next update, where if you have a very small revolt, instead of actually starting a war and raising troops, it just creates a couple of penalties for the locations. So this war would have never happened if we were playing on 1.1, according to how they say they're going to implement it. Like this would have never happened. Or at least I think it would have never happened. I'm still not actually sure what locations left, if any, did. Giving the Overlord War Leader could help, true. I think it would be better if you become the War Leader and instead of having the Annex Revolter button at the bottom, you have to like, or you have the ability to actually take stuff. It might have been this location, actually. No, but it wouldn't have revolted for Hungarian. It would have revolted for Serbian. That's not true, actually. That's not true. It doesn't matter how many Serbs are in this province. It can definitely revolt to Hungarian. So maybe it was this town. But I didn't give that to Croatia, so never mind, actually, it can't be. I don't even know what that's about. It might just be this, I don't know, doesn't matter. The only real way to prevent it currently, though, is to make one province vassals only. The problem is that I released Croatia as a historical subject. Which I think was all this stuff. Oh, maybe I didn't. Well, I did release them as a historical subject, but I don't think they had this. I think I did give them this, because there are a bunch of Croatians in here, so I'm thinking, oh, I'll give Croatia a large Croatian population. That makes sense, right? Which is why I think I gave them this, and I think that's what revolted. So, yeah, we have like less than 20% of the population is Hungarian, and they said, we're gonna drag this location out of Croatia and into Hungary and start a war. Anyway, let me check something real quick. They could just put a minimum % of culture rule for joining the revolts. Well, okay, that's kind of what they're doing with the next update. If the revolt would be small enough, then instead of being a revolt, it's just temporary modifiers to the locations. So, in theory, this location here, when it revolted, it had like, I don't know, 300 pops or something, 300 soldiers, I don't know. In theory, it just wouldn't have revolted. Instead, it would have created some modifiers. And they would have been annoying, but not as annoying as this. Where am I going? What? Me when I win a battle and it causes me to retreat? That's unusual. That's gotta be a new one. Is that the revolt's total pop strength or per location? It might actually just be that thing where it's, like instead of spawning the tag to begin with, it just creates some penalties.
I am glad I remembered this.
Hey, Lysander, thank you very much for the 7 month, 7 months on Prime. Thank you very much. Glad I decided to take my break from my word simulator to come to this text simulator. Since we're in 1473, can you do me a favor and abolish international trade so I don't have to draft this contract? Oh, don't worry, I'm looking at the markets right now. It seems like trade is already abolished. Yeah, we just have a bunch of unused trade capacity. There you go, problem solved. Could making the smaller revolts be building-based nations that you have to destroy by reaching certain goals that let you destroy their bases? They could do that, but I think that would cause another new problem, which is that it's going to inflate the number of tags in the game significantly, and that could be an issue for runtime. Especially because I don't know how much I trust the AI to figure out how to put those down. Unlike with wars, they seem pretty effective at basically deleting tags. Also, what the hell is this? Oh, nice to see they've left Portugal alive in a zoo over here. Very cool, thank you very much, Castile. You ever consider playing any kind of sport game simulators, like Football Manager? I've seen them, but I haven't really considered playing them, I don't know. Unless... Unless you consider the hit mobile game Uma Musume to be a sport game simulator. In which case, technically I have played one. Would it need to lead to tag bloat? Could they just add a dissidence tag or something with a small... not on the province itself? A small note on the province itself on who they defect to if it comes to it? They could try that, I mean, maybe. Kind of like how rebels in EU4 are literally just one tag. I could see it. Okay, man. Alright. Horse Girl stream when? We had that one stream, and then I'm not gonna lie, after that, I have not played it even once. Not a single time. But it's still all over both my Twitter and Instagram feeds. Because, like, the memes are funny, I just don't play it. Building-based rebels could kind of be like estates. A single estate per country, and when they build up enough somewhere, they revolt based on the population. I don't know about that one. I mean, I don't know. I don't know about that one. A single estate per country. Like a rebel estate? Or like an estate per culture? That would be a horrible idea, probably. You could bring back EU4 rebels, but they come out of the population still. They just don't break from the country to create a new tag. Well, okay, so basically, like, I think the system for creating new tags is, like, it's kind of fine, for the most part. It's actually not the biggest problem here. The biggest problem is trying to figure out the edge cases where you have very small revolts that end up with massive consequences. Kind of like what happened here. Your algorithm got cooked? Yeah, pretty much. I think small revolts should just contribute to overall unrest to accelerate other rebels until a certain threshold is hit. Then a big revolt. I think isn't that part of their plan? Okay, guys, let's just, first of all, I'm going to save the game. I'm not feeling particularly motivated to continue this one, but I am feeling motivated to continue the discussion. So, let me open up that dev diary again. Let me see. EU5 dev diaries. Alright. Small revolts. This is from the dev diary. Nobody likes to run a large empire with a standing army close to 100,000, and then getting an uprising in 3 locations with a total army of 85 men. Now instead, if there are less than 5,000 pops backing a rebellion, they will instead give a debuff to the locations they have support in. The threshold is subject to change, and subject to maybe being scaled with the size of the country. Which I think maybe makes sense, possibly. So that's what they're thinking of for that. And the... Okay, so basically it kind of does what you described. When someone said, yeah, teleos... Sorry for maybe mispronouncing that. Yeah, the small revolts do kind of contribute to overall unrest in the region, sort of, I think. Or maybe in a small way, because it reduces the prosperity and the control, and when you have less control, rebels take up faster. The problem might be that reducing the control doesn't do too much for other rebellions, because they're in the locations that have just revolted. I think that they might want to be able to affect nearby locations as well, just a little bit. So like, I don't know, if we have like a small rebellion over here that's like these 3 locations, then maybe these 3 locations and the surrounding ones should also get control debuffs. Because then if these other locations have rebels, then they'll tick faster with less control. So that could be part of that system. I think also, if you're having a civil war, all of your other rebels, particularly like the regional ones, the separatists, the religious revolts, those should also start to tick up much faster. I think if you're in a civil war, like all of the oppressed minority groups from around the empire should at least try to take an opportunity. Because, like, this might be the best chance they have. So I think that would be good. I don't know if they do that already. Maybe they do, but I think that would be a good mechanic. And very close, it's like an A sound. Oh, teleos. Okay. But anyway. Yeah. EU5 is definitely one of the games that has been released in the past year by Paradox. Inarguably, it is a game that exists. I don't know what else to say. Actually, yeah, I know what else to say. We're gonna talk about the rest of this. Into talk, just because I feel like it. Not that there's really too much in here, to be honest. Like, it has a few things. Apparently, they want wrong culture to be a much harsher penalty. Apparently. Oh right, they're reworking the building UI to be much better too, so that's cool. Changing how economy is tracked for estates, okay, cool. A couple of UI changes. The complacency mechanic really is still like the biggest thing. Complacency and threat and rivals. Those 3 changes are going to be massive. Would the game be better if it just ran faster? Do you mean like if the gameplay loop were adjusted to be faster? Or if the actual runtime were faster? Because if it's runtime, it kind of depends on the person and the country you're playing. Like, I would love for the runtime to be faster when I'm playing, like, Haudenosaunee. Obviously, because I'm not doing that much. But in terms of, like, when I'm playing any other country and I'm kind of locked in, I'm not really pushing past speed 4 anyway. I don't really change it that much. Oh, but they are changing the game speeds, aren't they? Wasn't that another thing that they wanted to do? Wasn't that the previous dev diary they mentioned that? They wanted 7 speeds in game. Let me see if I can find that. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I hallucinated that entirely. Hold on. Unless someone can find it for me. No, surely I'm not hallucinating that. Maybe it was in like a comment, or it was like an offhand remark on like a thread somewhere that I've completely forgotten where it is. I thought they were like, oh yeah, we want to have a speed that's between 4 and 5 because that gap is pretty big. I think they wanted a speed between 3 and 4 and 4 and 5. Or something like that. It was in a forum post, I think. Yeah, it's not going to make the game run faster. I just sort of thought about it because I was thinking, oh, I usually play on speed 4 or speed 3. Only speed 5 when I'm really not doing anything. But then I was thinking like, oh, wait a second. If they made a speed 4.5, then maybe I would play on that more. I don't know. Anyway, if the game ran faster, I mean, it's always better if the game can run faster. I mean, I think it's just better for everybody, right? It's like an always yes, a net yes. Also, I think I need to reply to a message that I kind of forgot to reply to. It was in a forum post, I think. It's somewhere. Hold on. EU5 7 speeds. I literally cannot find it. Shoot. Well, I'm sure it's somewhere. But yeah, it's a little, I don't know, disappointing in some ways. But this stream kind of made me feel like, yeah, I think I'm gonna wait until the next update before I stream it again. This war kind of demoralized me, just a little bit. It can also add some preference to AI for expansion direction. Well, yeah, I'm kind of hoping for some kind of content in that regard. Something that motivates the AI to do semi-historical things. Maybe. Can you make a video about your overall opinion of EU5? I could. I feel like it's been done to death, though. Like, I remember, who was it? Someone made a joke that was like, every EU5 video now is just talking about the state of the game. In the future, historians will look back and wonder if EU5 ever actually had gameplay. Because every video is just talking about the state of the game. I think it'll get there in a few patches / DLC. Oh, for sure. I'm just trying to figure out what I'm gonna do in the meantime. Play more Factorio, I guess. Let's go. We are really in that rough patch. That January rough patch. where everything released in November. And so now, like, there's nothing super new and interesting that I really want to do in Paradox games, and EU5 is, like, mildly cooked for another month. Did you even finish Silksong? Oh, shoot. I never finished Silksong. That's true. I guess I should do that as well. I might play Manor Lords. I think I've said that for the past 3 streams, but maybe I'll actually do it. I might even make a Manor Lords video, possibly. Which would be crazy. But yeah, possibly. And then, I mean, Vic 3, they had that update. They're not going to make another one for a while. CK3 had a massive update that, I'm going to be honest, I barely played. I did like that one video in that one stream. Warhammer 3, maybe? Never played a Warhammer game. You mean like Total War Warhammer 3? You know, I've never actually played a Total War game. Maybe I'll get into that. Would you guys watch Total War streams? Is there not new Anbanar content coming? There is, I just don't know when. I think it also just went free on stream, or on Steam. Total War. I see Total War Warhammer 40k. Oh, that's not out yet. Right, they announced that at the Game Awards, I think. Let's see. Total Wars are like EU, but you micro in battles. That could be kind of goated, actually. Okay, chat. I need the collective chat brain cell to recommend to me if I'm going to play a Total War game on stream, which Total War game should it be? Keep in mind, I have never played a Total War, and I also don't know, like, anything about Warhammer. I think I actually own Total War Pharaoh, because I think that was on a Humble Bundle. I haven't played it, though. Warhammer 3 is pretty good. You don't need to know anything about Warhammer. $40K is sci-fi, the rest of them are mostly historical. Only ever played Warhammer 2 and 3. Three has a lot of reviews. 2 has a lot of reviews. Warhammer 3 is mixed. Why is that? Is it like DLC policy? I wouldn't say historical. Warhammer not 40k is fantasy? Wait. Yeah, this does not look very sci-fi to me. Why are they both called Warhammer? If one's like super far in the future. Wait, okay, so Warhammer 1, 2, and 3 are fantasy Warhammer. And Warhammer 40k is sci-fi Warhammer. But they're both called Warhammer. Warhammer is a fantasy universe. Warhammer is both a brand and a game engine. Forty-K is a space opera, so it's more sci-fantasy. Right, okay, I do know a little bit about 40k. I do know a little bit about 40k. And that it's like, oh, it's like, welcome to the grimdark or whatever, right? They're basically two different IPs under one company. 40k because it's 40,000 years into the future? Do they exist in the same universe, but 40k is just like super far in the future? That doesn't make sense, because like, in Warhammer 40k, they have like the history of humanity still starts on Earth. But in the other Warhammer, there are humans in like a fantasy world? Isn't like, it's a different universe, right? It's not the same universe? Okay. It's called 40k because that's how much I'll need to spend on the DLC. Real? The universes are weirdly connected though, of course. Age of Sigma? Oh, Age of Sigmar retconned them into one. They have the same chaos gods and all. Okay, maybe I'll do a Warhammer stream. Warhammer 3. I'm gonna need chat to teach me how to play the game though, because it looks really complex. Like, I'm looking at one screenshot from the Steam page, and it has this guy who has like a bird face with wings, and I guess he's like a commander, and he has like 50 billion stats on him. And you can swap out his arms and his wings and tail, and they have different stats and stuff. I don't know what's going on there. But yeah, I guess I should probably play the tutorial first, right? Yeah, the stream's gonna end pretty soon. We're talking about like, what do I want to do for the rest of January while EU5 is making me sad to play. Playing EU5, this game looks complicated. Okay, listen. Like, there's a base level of knowledge you can have about any Paradox game as long as you have at least a minimal base of information of real world events to build off of. Like, at least a little bit. But we're talking about like a completely different universe and everything. Like, I don't know if the basic principles of economics are going to apply to Warhammer 3. But they sure do apply to Victoria 3. Warhammer 3 has a decent introduction campaign. Okay, so should I play the introduction campaign before doing a stream? Unlike Paradox games, Total War has good tutorials. You can just jump in, no problem. Okay. I should do the tutorial before a stream, but then I can do like the intro campaign on stream. Okay. Maybe that's a good idea. Up to you. Could be fun to watch you learn. That's the other thing. Like, I can get advice from chat. You could play it on stream. It takes like 2 hours. True. I've been meaning to do a couple of more frequent, shorter streams. So maybe I'll do like a Warhammer 3 playing the tutorial and figuring out how to play it kind of thing. A learning stream, exactly. Anyway, yeah, we're probably gonna call it there for today. We did in fact play some EU5. I'm gonna save and quit the game. Yep, that was some EU5. And we will revisit EU5 in a month, probably. In a month, or also, I do have 2 videos still. One that's coming out, I think Monday, actually. Yeah, I think one that's coming out Monday, and then another one that's coming out, I don't know when. And they're both EU5. And after that, I don't know what I'm doing. January is kind of like the throw month, though. January's like the reset, kind of do whatever you want month on YouTube, in my opinion. Like November and December are the lock-in months. January is the you can kind of do whatever you want month. At this point, you probably have enough baseline tactical knowledge to be able to play a Total War game without a copy of The Art of War on your desk. Maybe. Possibly. I don't know how transferable that knowledge really is, but we'll see. Apparently the free Warhammer 3 was just for the Mega campaign if you owned Warhammer 1 or 2. Right, someone said Warhammer 3 is like it integrates the first 2 games or something? I don't really know what that means. There we go. Background music. Alternatively, you could get Attila, then download the Lord of the Rings mod. Then the no copyright submod. I mean, I could. That's true. There's the Immortal Empires Mega campaign where it gives you an absolutely massive map with all factions in the series. Warhammer 1 to 3 are regions of the map. That's crazy. I'm starting to understand why people like this so much. Because that actually sounds awesome. You can only play as the factions you own, though? Oh, I see. I see. So I was looking at a review on Warhammer 3, and someone was like, man, you can only play 8 of the factions. You have to spend extra money to unlock all the rest of them. But now knowing that, like, those are the factions from the first 2 games, I guess I can kind of see it now. But you don't have to buy each of the games, right? You don't have to buy 1 and 2 unless you want the factions from them. Wait, so you actually have to buy the other games to have the factions from those games? There's no like, here's a $20 expansion pack to unlock the rest of them? Oh, dude, I'm looking at the DLC right now. It's like I'm looking at a Paradox game. God damn. It might actually be worse than a Paradox game. Yeah, you might be right about that. Yeah, if I wanted to purchase all content for Warhammer 3, it would be $514.68. God damn. There are also factions locked behind DLC in the old games. Chat, what am I getting into? Imagine buying all EU4 DLCs now. Isn't that only like 350 or something? I don't know. No, it's probably more than that. But, yeah, so I think... Oh yeah, never mind. Yeah, that'll be something. You know what? Maybe I will give some good old Warhammer a try. Like 350 is a good thing. It's like not as bad, slightly. I mean, it's not good, but it's not as bad as it could be, you know? All EU4 DLC plus base game is 200 euros right now? Let me check. It's actually hard to check because I own everything. Oh. Okay, well it kind of depends on what you're buying for EU4 because we have all this extra stuff that literally does not matter. Like, if I wanted to get absolutely everything for EU4, I think in total, full price, it is like $580 Canadian. But that is with the Sprite packs. Dude, it's actually crazy that the EU4 Ultimate Sprite pack is 40 doubloons. That's insane. The Sprite pack, $40. Then you have the ebook pack, $7. The China history lessons. What even is that? For another $7? Is it literally just a podcast collection? It is. It's literally 26 lessons that cover the important events and cultures of early modern China through 5 to 10 minute lectures. That's funny. Dude, this is, like, it really is such a 2013 thing to do, because it's like, this is before everyone could just throw on whatever podcast they wanted. That's funny, though. Anyway, we're going on weird tangents. I think I might look more into Warhammer, maybe. We could do a stream on that this week at some point. For now, I'm gonna go maybe have dinner, possibly. And I'm gonna see if anybody is streaming to see if I can raid them on YouTube. And by anybody, what I mean is basically if Saffron is still streaming. Is she still streaming? No, she is not. Okay. Alright. So instead, yeah, we're just gonna end things off for now. I'll see you guys sometime this week. There will be a video on Monday. Some of you can already watch it. The channel members, I'm sure they already know they can watch it. The Twitch subs can actually also watch it, but you have to do that through the Discord. If you connect your account. If you link your Twitch account to your Discord account. And then same thing with Patreon, but you would have gotten an email for that, so anyway. Alright, I'll see you guys sometime this week, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your weekend, and bye bit.